The world champion is back in business. Fabio Quartararo takes victory here at the Portuguese Grand Prix. This is After the Flag with myself, Lewis Suddaby, and Simon Crafar. We will break down all the key issues that have come from this fifth round of the MotoGP World Championship. An entertaining, a dramatic Grand Prix in the battle for second place. But it has to be said, Simon, that was all taking place way in the distance behind Fabio Quartararo, of course. There's no hiding away from how difficult the start of the season it's been for him and for Yamaha. They targeted these early European rounds as a chance for them to really ignite their title defence, and boy, did he deliver.
Yeah, he did it pretty much how the Yamaha guys and Fabio have said they have to do it on the Yamaha. They have to get qualifying in a reasonable position where Fabio can pull off a good start, which he did, and then push aggressive the early laps and make a break, you know. At least don't get in a fight with especially the Ducatis, you know, because in the past it's gone wrong, getting stuck behind, overheating front tyre temperature, which I think more than one of the crashes further back were because of that. It is a problem. Fabio, I was impressed with all three. No, deeply impressed with all three podium finishes. But Fabio, as his, competition, his opposition said, he was on another planet. And when, I like it when Johann Zarco is honest and he says that he does it often. Fabio was on another level to everyone today, and hats off to him. I'm really happy that because he's had a tough time, and here he's showing how strong he is when the machine lets him do it.
Yeah, it's very difficult to think how this championship long-term is going to go. Of course, we've already seen three different championship leaders this season, incredibly, given how the winter's gone. As I say, Fabio Quartararo does now lead the World Championship, albeit level on points with Aleix Rins, who we'll talk about in a little bit. But I guess, given how unpredictable MotoGP is, you cannot truly write off a guy like Fabio Quartararo or Yamaha, given what they've done. And I suppose it puts into context what he did in those first four Grand Prix, maximising the points, limiting the damage on his bad circuits, because he knows on his good circuits he can really deliver.
Finish. I think that's the thing. Get the machine across the line, even if it's where Fabio won't want to be is, 8th or 10th, but get it across the line at the bad ones, because he's going to have some other bad ones, for example, you know what I'm saying. At the tough ones, he's just got to get it across the line. Like Aragon, it's traditionally not good for them. And I think a lot of the guys that are in the championship fight, that's what they're doing. They're on the bad days, making it a finish. And, we've got some interviews coming up, but I really look forward to hear what the riders say after being on the bike.
Well, let's make a start with those interviews, shall we? The reigning world champion then, well and truly back on track for the moment at least. Fabio Quartararo leads the World Championship. His first victory of 2022, his first victory since Silverstone last year. Here's what he had to say immediately following his victory.
Fabio, congratulations, your first win of the season. You're obviously fastest in warm-up today. Was that confirmation for you that victory was potentially on the cards?
Yes, this morning I felt great. I felt like we had the possibility to fight for the win, but I knew if I didn't make a great start on a great first lap, the victory was gone, and we achieved a great start. And as soon as I was second on the third corner, I knew I was going to win, because I felt our pace was really great, and I know in this track I can make a really great pace. But I was surprised to ride in 39 almost all the races, because we had no time on track, and when I saw 39.4 I was really surprised, but let's say it's a great moment.
Talk me through those early laps. Obviously you made the crucial pass on Johann Mir, I think at lap 4, but following him, what was going through your mind at that point?
I was quite calm. He was strong in a few areas where I was really surprised, but was also some area where I struggled a lot last year. Turn 5 was something that I'm missing this year, to be honest. Turn 5 is a corner where I'm struggling so much, and he was much faster than me. But it was great to make some laps behind him, but then I felt like I was faster, so I overtook him as soon as possible and then tried to pull away.
As you mentioned, with clear track in front of you, you looked impossible to beat here today. But was that perhaps confidence that the title is still on the cards this year with the M1's limitations?
Yes, it's always on the card. And I will never give up. Whatever we feel, we think, we know our weak point, to be honest, and I think everyone knows that the top speed is really low. But in this track, with the hill, last corner, I was managing really well. Let's say with the hill, the wheelie, I was super performant. Last corner, I was exiting well, and I was surprised to overtake the Suzuki on the straight. And to be honest, feels amazing to overtake someone in the straight and on the braking. But yeah, I feel so happy.
And then you made a massive leap up in the championship. You're now joint points leader with Aleix Rins. Is that confirmation season is back on course?
Yes, but to be honest, the first races I've been doing my maximum, and I've been riding exactly same as today. Just when there is that big straights and tough parts for the Yamaha, we are struggling much more. But today the track, I always say this track is 50-50 for us. If we are in front, we can make a massive race. But if we are behind someone and couldn't overtake, we can make like last year crash when we were 5th or 6th.
Well done, Fabio. Fantastic work from you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant ride from Fabio Quartararo. The signs were there in morning warm-up, weren't they, that he certainly had a pace and a rhythm that very few could match. And very interesting to hear him say there, as soon as he was second at the end of the first half lap, he said he knew he was going to win.
Yeah, and also, lap time-wise, it sounds like he was impressed with his own pace, He's great, isn't he? He's fantastic. And I think he pretty much said what I think about him. He never gives up, and he pretty much puts everything out there every weekend. And most of the time, if he's not right at the front, it's something letting him down rather than, the other way around.
Well, Johann Zarco was next up in second place, a French 1-2, of course. Zarco had started from pole position, had dropped back a little bit. Obviously, there was incidents either around him or ahead of him that, of course, contributed to Johann Zarco coming through to second place. Of course, there's been so much talk about the young stars coming through at Ducati, the likes of Jorge Martin and Enea Bastianini, who both crashed out of the Grand Prix today. Enea Bastianini, the World Championship leader, crashing out in the early stages. A timely reminder of just how quality a rider Johann Zarco still is. It's easy to forget just how good he is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And talking to him in Parc Ferme, I like him. I like how he doesn't care. He just says what he thinks. He goes out. He's stubborn, and it's a great attribute for a rider. He will not give up, throws everything at it. And what a great job, when it was not an easy one. His team manager, Fonzie Neto, said they didn't even know if the tyre choice was right. They didn't have time to test them properly. And he just got out there and put it all together, even surprising Fonzie with his speed. So, yeah, great job. And I'd like to say again, a thing about Johann I like is his honesty. He's the first one to say, wow, if someone else does something impressive, like he did in Mandalika, about how the boys at the front set the pace with no wet track. And now today, Fabio, basically giving Fabio a big thumbs up like he was on another planet. So, yeah, top man, Johann.
Top job from Johann Zarco. Then second place for him, his second podium of the 2022 season. He spoke immediately after that to Amy Reynolds. Let's hear from the Frenchman.
Johann, congratulations. It's been quite the weekend here for you in Portimao. Pole to the podium. You obviously had a bit of a recovery job to do from initially just dropping back from that prime position. Explain to us what happened there.
Yeah, not a great start, but from the first break I could understand that I can fight. I've been really impressed by immediately Fabio's pace. He was aggressive but also pretty fast. But then Aleix Marquez also did an amazing start. So I was happy to feel good on the bike, and the key point of the race was to overtake quickly Aleix Marquez and Jack Miller, because in third place, Bianjo and Mir, I had a very good pace and I could control well my race. I could not overtake him because Fabio was too fast, so it was better to save a bit of energy behind him. And I took also a good decision to overtake Johann Mir, I think 9 laps to the end, because Jack was coming strong. And getting in second place, I avoid maybe the crash that they had together. And really, the last moment of the race, with Aleix Espargaró coming back quite strong, I did this extra push to avoid an overtake from him. So 20 points today is more than enough to make me happy.
You could see that you were having a real tough time getting ahead of Johann Mir. Was that just because he was so good on the brakes, or at some points were you getting pushed wide by maybe the wind or something like that?
I'm happy with the pace I got on the bike, but I'm still not 100% feeling good on the bike. So he's strong. Johann Mir is a strong guy, and in tight turn and fast turn, he was a bit faster than me. Fortunately, I could recover my time in the straight because in fifth and sixth gear I was faster than him, and in that way I could control the race behind him. But I had to wait that he struggled a bit with the rear tire to then catch the advantage.
It sounds like all of you GP22 riders are still, like 5 races in, finding the limits of the bike and the package. But do you feel as though you've made progress in those five races?
I hope I did progress, and with this result we can believe the progress are coming. But as I said, they are good progress to show that the potential of the bike is there, because even Jack was fast from the warm-up to then in the race he got the pace. But we are not so comfortable to do the same race as Fabio did, to just say, okay, I do my pace and I win the race. So at the moment, as long we have to resist, it's good to catch these points.
Great work, Johann. We'll see you next weekend in Jerez.
Second place then for Johann Zarco. As you mentioned, no one really had the pace that Fabio Quartararo did today, but always an entertaining rider, always a fascinating rider to listen to. A very analytical rider, Johann Zarco. You sometimes get a bit of fluff. You never quite get the full story from riders when they speak after a Grand Prix, but you can't really say that about Johann Zarco. You left in no doubt as to how he's feeling and what he thought of that race.
Yeah, and I think, like I was saying before, everyone can see the honesty of him. Whether it's good for him or not, he'll say it, you know. I do really believe him about the 22 bike not being quite there yet. Heard some comments from Jack yesterday, just on the exit, rear feel. You're watching the garage, you see the cameras catch him sometimes talking about this pumping on exit and rear grip on exit, and I think when they do get it sorted, it sounds like Johann's confident to run with the boys at the front when they fix it.
Well, Zarco came under pressure in the latter stages from Aleix Espargaró, who of course lost the World Championship lead last time out in Austin. Had he got past Zarco in the final lap, he would have regained the World Championship lead by 1 point. I guess it's a measure of their progress now that we're no longer surprised that Aleix Espargaró and Aprilia are on the podium.
I've got to repeat again, I'm deeply impressed by all the podium finishes. So Fabio, Johann and Aleix. I didn't see Aleix pulling that one out today, and you can't take anything away from him and Aprilia. What a job. You know, they were as fast as, I would say, anyone except Fabio, but wow, you know, over race distance, he was right there and really threatening Johann Zarco. At the end, Johann had to put everything in the last lap to make sure he didn't get past, and you could see Aleix right on the limit grip. I think his tyres had gone a bit, and he was still throwing everything at it. It's super cool, you know. One of the older guys really taking it to the young boys.
Second podium of the season, third podium, of course, overall for Aleix Espargaró with Aprilia in MotoGP. He felt second place could have been his today had he not lost ground in the early stages, and we can actually get a better idea now of what happened to Aleix Espargaró in the early stages of the Grand Prix. Of course, finishing third position, he spoke to Amy Reynolds following the Grand Prix, so let's hear from Aprilia's number one after his second podium of the season. Here he is.
Congratulations, another podium finish for you in 2022. Obviously, the Miller-Mir crash in front of you sealed the deal, but it looks as though you were coming back into it.
Yeah, I'm satisfied. We have to improve the clutch. We are having some trouble with the clutch this year, sincerely. We know we have to improve on that area because it's very important, the first part of the race. But then once I overtook Aleix Marquez and Oliveira, that was not easy. When I had free track, I show a good pace. I was able to catch the guys in front of me. I was ready to attack them because I felt a lot stronger. But yeah, it was a shame, sincerely, the mistake of Jack. But this is racing, and at the end, the podium is good for me. I tried also to attack Johann, but it was impossible. I had no traction. I destroyed the rear tire, so I'm happy.
Obviously, this happiness means that Aprilia are getting ever so close now to losing their concessions. How does that make you feel?
But sincerely, I never like it, these concessions, never ever. I think we have to fight with the same weapons than the rest. I'm not stupid. I know that these concessions help us for sure. But now we are fighting with the big boys. We have same weapons than them, and we show that our bike is competitive. So I hope that we can already lose it in Jerez. If we didn't lose already, I hope that in Jerez will be the last race.
You remain third in the championship now, heading into Jerez. We are well into almost this second quarter of the season. That must be still almost like a pinch me kind of moment.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Very, very happy. Actually, if you tell me this winter or in Christmas, I'll be very nervous, to handle the situation. But I don't know why. But I'm super relaxed, very happy, enjoying. You cannot imagine how much I'm enjoying this moment. To ride at this level is unbelievable. It's very, very difficult. Has been all my career to reach this. So I'm relaxed, happy. Life is good. So I just try to keep the feet on the ground and hopefully this year have 100 races to enjoy like this, because again it's very difficult to ride like this, to have this level. So I hope that we can continue like this.
Great job, Aleix. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Aleix Espargaró. Of course, he's still riding that crest of a wave from taking that first MotoGP victory back in Argentina. As he mentioned in that interview, Aprilia are 1 concession point away, we believe, now from losing those concessions, so that could be as early as Jerez next weekend. He's been one of the few constants, hasn't he, through this first part of the season. There's been very few riders or motorcycles or whatever who've been competitive at every single circuit, and even at the Circuit of the Americas, at a circuit that he openly admits he's not particularly good at. He was just on the fringes of the top 10. That Aprilia now is quick everywhere, to the point where Jack Miller yesterday was identifying that Aprilia as a motorcycle to watch today. The other riders are taking them very seriously now.
See, the other riders are looking at the Aprilia. I've been saying that for a few events, and it looks so good. The other riders know, it's good. But getting back to Aleix, he's really impressed me this year. Like you said, he's there every weekend. Even if America wasn't a good one, it's not a good one for him personally and the Aprilia in the past. But he survived that one well, and that's why he's still at the front of the championship. But I'll put my hands up and admit, I didn't think Aleix was capable of this because he's never shown it before, for whatever reason, whether the bike wasn't up for it or, you know what I'm saying, he's a long time in MotoGP without amazing results like this, and I'm glad he's proved me wrong in that what I expected from him this season, and it's great for him and Aprilia, and it sounds like he's confident to make a really good race at Jerez. From what he said there, it sounds like it's a good track for him, and he believes it's good for the Aprilia, so watch out at Jerez.
Yeah, you think a nimble and agile bike will go particularly well around Jerez. He was open enough to admit that he was fortunate to take advantage of a key incident in the race. We have to touch upon the big incident in the race, the battle for the podium as it was at the time between Johann Mir and Jack Miller. We're going to hear from both riders in just a moment, but first of all, your initial views from that incident? Yeah,
I'm glad you asked. They are both, like I said during the race, extremely hard breakers. They're both fantastic on the brakes. I think most other people don't want to try to outbrake them. If you know one of those guys are getting outbraked, the rider is fully on the limit, and I think that's part of the thing with Jack. But you have to take the chance. When you're on a Ducati, you get pushed into the chance because the bike's faster. It comes up next to Johann Mir. What are you going to do? You've got that opportunity. Are you going to brake a little bit early and keep doing that, or you're going to give it a go? It's a fine line when you try to overtake one of these. One other thing, you're at the end of the front straight. It was a tailwind at that time, and also when you are trying to outbrake someone, I won't say that, but I'm going to wait till the interview. But all I'm saying is a real fine line, and I'm gutted for Johann Mir because he's one of the championship contenders. He's one of the serious boys that can fight for this championship, and that is a massive blow. It was really good points. He'd have been still right there for the fight in the championship, and now he's dropped way down.
Well, race direction deemed no further action was necessary as a result of that incident. It certainly appeared as if it was just one rider crashing, and unfortunately another one was in the way, so you could understand that decision. As Simon mentioned, we were looking forward to hearing from both riders to get their view on the incident. Let's hear from them now.
Johann, there's only really one word to describe today's race. That's a great shame. The first time Explain to us from your side what you felt.
Well, when I made the start, straight away I realized that today was not our day. No, I started to have problems with the front. With the front, we were not making the front tire in a good way, and every lap was worse and worse and worse, and then my pace was not good. So we made the worst session in the weekend on the race, and this is what makes me really disappointed. No, with the action with Jack, yeah, I think that is something that can happen. We both go really on the limit, and he was just too optimistic probably on that maneuver. But you know, I made these mistakes on the past, so I expect that he will learn from this mistake like I did, and yeah, and we move on the next one.
It looks as though you guys have potentially patched things up from previous.
We never had any problem. I think he lost the nerves and everything in Austin once, but I never had any problem with Jack. Yeah, today was happening this, but you know, this can happen.
Johann, your rivals will probably be really surprised to describe your race the way that you have done so negatively, because all I've heard from other riders today was actually how competitive you were.
I couldn't be competitive today, honestly, because there was 7 laps remaining, and I know the conditions that I was on that, and the risk that I had to take to bring. To stay on the bike on that moment. So it wasn't our day.
Thanks, Johann.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go with
Yeah,
Spanish.
Johann Mir understandably deflated. It was such a classy guy, the way he described the incident. No hard feelings between him and Jack Miller, who we'll hear from in just a second. But I think you get the impression from that interview there that the major disappointment from Johann Mir isn't the way his race ended, but the fact that he was so uncompetitive before then.
Yeah, I mean, in a few weeks, he's going to be, or in a little bit of time, he's going to be extremely disappointed to miss out on those points, extremely. But I think he was in the situation because with the problem with the front, as he couldn't go at least almost with Fabio and stay out of trouble. I think that's why he's gutted when he knows he has the potential to. I'll be honest, I had him down for the race win and Fabio second. Fabio was so good, probably wasn't going to end that way, but I think Mir would have been close without the hassle. And I picture watching that interview that he's gutted because he was in this situation, fighting further back than he should have been because of the problem.
Well, let's get the other side of the story then on that incident that ended 2 of the key podium contenders' races. We've heard from Johann Mir. Now let's hear from Jack Miller, of course, the other half of that incident. Let's hear from the Australian now.
Jack, an unfortunate end to your Grand Prix and podium chase today. Explain to us what happened.
Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, I was pushing, trying to get closer and closer to those boys. I'd managed the tyre for the first, let's say, 16 laps of the race, and I really started putting in some decent laps towards the end there. Caught up to Mir, well, Johann at the time. Johann was able to get past Mir, took a couple goes, but he got through. Mir was starting to struggle a little. I went for the, I was trying for about 3 laps to get close enough to try a pass into turn 1, and I felt like I got close enough, and then, yeah, just as I went in, locked the front. Yeah, unsure. There were some patches there. I was a fair bit on the inside. Could have touched one of them. I don't know. It was a bit strange. I felt pretty straight up and down, but anyway, it's never nice crashing out of a Grand Prix, and it's even worse when you take an opponent out. So no, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, I'm extremely sorry to the whole Suzuki team, and especially to Johann, you know, for taking him out of a solid, you know, podium position. It's never nice.
You were both in prime position for it. It was really nice to see that. It looked as though you guys have perhaps patched things up a little bit from previous years.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you never want to see an opponent hurt or anything like that.
and yeah, when you crash in a place like that, it's never nice. So it was yeah, one of those things. I mean, I went to apologise. He wasn't at the track, but again, I went to apologise again. But I mean, I feel it's the right thing. I'm in the wrong 100% today. Racing incident, and I'll cop it. I know what I did, and yeah, we will move forward. And thankfully, we only have to wait a couple of days till Jerez, so we'll be right.
There's been a couple of rumours potentially circulating this weekend linking you with the move back to LCR. Is there any truth to that?
No, zero whatsoever.
When this was put to Davide Tardozzi, he basically reiterated his intention of really wanting to keep you. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's nice. You know, I have a good home there in Ducati. As I said, there's been no talks with LCR whatsoever. Slowly going this week, I guess. But yeah, we haven't discussed with anyone really. Of course, we're starting to now, and you know, the silly season's sort of starting to get in the full swing. But we'll take our time and weigh up our options. But for sure, you know, I know the Ducati. I've been here a while, and I know how everything works here. So I feel, you know, it'll take a bit to persuade me elsewhere.
Thanks, Jack.
Cheers.
Jack Miller setting the record straight and understandably apologetic following that incident with Johann Mir. We've got more reaction to come. In just a moment, we'll hear from Marc Marquez on a disappointing day for Repsol Honda. But before then, we have to quickly touch on one of the riders who finished in front of him. Of course, Johann Mir, a disastrous day in the end for him, but we have to talk about Alex Rins. 23rd on the grid. He made up 13 places on the first lap alone and ended up finishing up in 4th position. Even by his very high standards, as good as he's been so far this season, quite possibly the race of his life.
Yeah, it was, well, you guys mentioned it during the race, almost like a Marquez comeback in America. It was fantastic. Was it, in how many laps he made 10 places up? And I think
Lap
it was,
one alone.
Was one? Unbelievable, yeah. Almost like Mark in America. And it shows that, I mean, he had the pace. Can you believe I said to him last night after debrief, I reckon you're top 5 tomorrow, and I don't think he believed it, but you could see how good he is. He struggled in the wet, he struggled with it, and it almost lost confidence a bit, but he's got the pace and he's great at managing tyres, and this year he's not fallen off it. So I really felt that he could come through. I'm super happy for him. It was a stunning ride. What else can you say?
Absolutely stunning ride. Perhaps the best of Alex Rins' life. He finished just ahead of the home favourite, Miguel Oliveira. Took advantage of some of the incidents ahead of him to move up into 5th position, although a disappointing day on the other side of the KTM garage. Brad Binder crashing out. They finished just ahead of Marc Marquez then in 6th position. The charge through the field from Marc Marquez, based on what we saw in Austin, maybe we set our expectations a little bit too high, but 9th on the grid. I think we all expected Marc to go forwards. He did in the end to 6th position, but a bit of a sapping day, I suppose, a morale-sapping day for Honda in general.
Yeah, I had a chat with Alex Marquez, who was battling with him right at the end there, lost out to his brother, but not by much. He explained that their main problem this weekend was turning, getting the bike to turn, and because it's not quite turning, they're having to, I understood from what he's saying, because the reason all riders want the bike to turn is you have to open the throttle at a certain point, and if you haven't turned enough, you're still leaned over, and then you're giving the rear tyre a hard time. It's got really good rear grip. That's not their problem, but because it's not turning, they're giving the rear a hard time, and that's what they want to fix. At Jerez, he said they're going to start working on chassis setup and then parts, I believe, chassis at the test on Monday after Jerez.
So still a work in progress then for Honda with this 2022 machine. Marc Marquez came through in the end after an entertaining battle with his brother Alex in the closing stages to finish in 6th position. So how was Marc Marquez feeling at the end of the day? Let's hear from him now.
Okay. Marc, I think finished 6th in the end, got the better of your brother, a nice entertaining battle with him. Your thoughts on your race today?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts, okay, nice battle with my brother, with Alex, but it's not the position we are looking for. We finished 6th, but too far from the top guys. I mean, today our speed was not there, our confidence, the feeling with the bike was not there, and And yeah, since the beginning I struggled, but then I fight during the race to be better and better, but was not there the speed. So yeah, it becomes everything a little bit more difficult. But anyway, we were able to fight to finish on that 6th position. But we need to do something. We need to find something more in Jerez if we want to fight for the podium.
Do you think the limitation here was the fact that it's a new bike and we had 20 minutes of warm up to sort that out?
Yeah, we can say many things. We can say, yeah, new bike, new circuit, first time in dry conditions. But when one bike is working well, you go out and you are fast. This is the truth. I mean, when you feel comfortable with a bike, you go out, and doesn't matter which conditions, doesn't matter if it's the first time, the second time, or the third time, you are fast. So it's true that at the moment we are looking for that confidence with this new bike, and yeah, in Jerez we have an important weekend, then we have important tests, and yeah, the season is very long, but we need to do our step if we want to fight for the championship.
Still mainly front end?
Sorry?
Still mainly front end, not feeling the front end or not feeling confident with it. Is that the...
This weekend I don't want to fix one problem because was overall, I mean, was no confidence, no feedback. Even yesterday when I go out with damp conditions, and normally I was very fast always, I didn't feel the bike. It's something that I'm missing, and yeah, we need to looking for some solution. Not only the bike, also me, the team, try to find a way. But it was a special weekend, so let's see in Jerez, keep the same motivation, and yeah, we are going there to try to improve a bit more.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Marc Marquez then in 6th position today. As mentioned, it still seems as if Honda are a work in progress with this 2022 machine. Just before we go then, let's look ahead to next weekend, the Spanish Grand Prix at Jerez. This has been such an unpredictable start to this 2022 season. We've now seen 4 different manufacturers win in the first 5 races. Yamaha now joining Ducati, Aprilia and KTM as winners. I guess with things so close in 2022, so much of what dictates who wins or who finishes on the podium at a Grand Prix is circuit specific with everything so close. So who are you expecting Jerez to favour?
First of all, I'd like to say, if I remember correctly, there was 6 different manufacturers in the top 6 at this race, which is really cool. They're all right, you know, they're all right there. Honda are the last of them. They're not going to be happy with that one. Going to Jerez, to answer your question, Fabio and the Yamahas are strong at Jerez. You know, traditionally, I think Fabio's thinking about Jerez big style. It's one of the ones that he has to try and win to fight for this championship, because some of them he's really going to lose where the bike won't work well enough for him to fight right at the front. And I have to say, Aleix, to repeat it, he's sounding confident. I believe he and the Aprilia will be strong there. And I want to say the Suzuki's, but I've got to throw in that the Ducatis are traditionally strong. You know, both Pecco and Jack they've won there, so or almost with Pecco. Anyway, they're the ones to watch out for, I think.
Yeah, Ducati were 1 and 2 last year at the Spanish Grand Prix, of course, when Jack Miller took advantage of Fabio Quartararo's arm pump to take victory. They're a busy weekend coming up next weekend at the Spanish Grand Prix. Of course, a test following that race as well on the Monday, which could be a key test for a number of factories and teams as they look to improve in this 2022 season. The FIM NL Motor E World Cup will also debut for 2022 next weekend, so a lot to look forward to on round 6 of the MotoGP World Championship next weekend. My thanks to Simon Crafar for joining me for After the Flag this afternoon. We've got you plenty of reaction and analysis from this 5th round of the MotoGP World Championship, and it whets the appetite for round 6. Fabio Quartararo heads to Jerez as the World Championship leader, level on points with Alex Rins, with Aleix Espargaró just 3 points further back. It couldn't be more finely poised. We look forward to your company next weekend in Jerez. Bye from us.
Lights out, here we go then. MotoGP underway in Portimao. Lightning start for Mir. Nightmare start for Johann Zarco. He missed the start completely, but he's in 2nd place. Stunning start for Mir.
Unbelievable first lap already for Alex Rins. 23rd on the grid. He's already up 10. Look at him, he's right behind Marc Marquez.
Mir leads Quartararo. Quartararo's got the inside line, slipstreaming on the Yamaha. What about the top speed of the Yamaha? Through into the lead then goes Fabio Quartararo, the reigning world champion. Hits the front for the first time on lap 4 here in Portimao. Up the inside again now of Aleix Marquez.
Rins picks up Oliveira too. Rins picks up Oliveira just behind him as well.
This is like the last lap of a World Championship battle.
Zarco once again breezes past the Suzuki on the start-finish straight. Can he now pull away from the 2020 World Champion?
Looking back to Jack Miller. It's a game of chess on the brakes now into the first corner.
Oh!
No! Miller! Miller on the front end, loses the front, trying to find a way through up the inside of Johann Mir on the outside with nowhere to go. Johann Mir gets collected, but here comes Fabio Quartararo. It has been picture perfect in Portugal for the reigning world champion.